Welcome to the simulation portion of Microsoft Office in CSC 102. For this, we will be working with Microsoft Word. Now, this is the same whether it's Word, Excel, or PowerPoint, or whatever, but all the simulations are going to be roughly the same for you, so just something for you to be aware of. First thing I'd like to point out is if you have your question bar down here at the bottom, I hate it down here. I think it takes up way too much screen real estate, and we can't see the bottom of things. It just really throws things for a loop. If you're on a laptop, there's a good chance that your bar is down here at the bottom. I suggest trying to get it over here on the right. And to do that, you can right-click up on the taskbar in Chrome. So it's Chapter 13 Simulation, Google Chrome. We can right-click and we can say Zoom and we can say Smaller. And you may have to route a few times, but it will then move it over here. You'll now notice that we actually have this blue bar and everything else happening down here at the bottom, which we didn't have before. So that's why I said really it's better off if you can get this over here on the right. If you're on a desktop, you may not have that problem, but I have found that lower resolution screens, which are typically laptops, are going to put it down there at the bottom. So I highly suggest you zoom out. Next, I'd like to point out is I have two taskbars right now. I have my Windows one, which is my actual computer, and then I have the Windows one that is in the simulation. Anytime this is asking you to do something over here on the right, make sure you're doing it on the simulation bar, not on your personal Windows machine. That will cause you problems with things not working correctly. So make sure you're on the right taskbar. The last thing I like to point out is this is extremely sensitive for how you do things. So it's expecting to do it certain ways. And if you don't do it those certain ways, it's going to mark you wrong. So let's go ahead and we'll get into this. I am doing Chapter 13 right now, but whether you're on Chapter 13, 11, 16, whatever, they're all going to be basically the same. So over here, it's telling me to select the entire document. Now you could click and drag and click it all that way. You could hold Shift and select it that way. For me, the easiest best way is Control A. That just selects everything. Then it wants us to do line and spacing to 1.5 and then spacing after to 12. So we could come in here and we could select 1.15. That is acceptable. And then we can come out over here to layout and we can change the after to 12 there. Or you could come into here and say line spacing options and do them both at the same time. So we can say our spacing should be 1.15 and our after should be 12. Either way, it will accept. As I said, I'm talking about showing this in multiple ways. It really doesn't matter. You can see it accepted that way. Let me go ahead and just refresh this so I can do it the other way. So we can come in 1.15, then do layout after 12. Boom. It accepted that way as well. But it still is super picky. So it only has like the top 10 ways of doing something programmed or something along those lines. So if you're not doing it one of those ways, it may be marking you wrong. Next, go ahead. The history of Ellis Island. All right, I typed it out. I hit enter. And notice it yells at me and says incorrect action over there on the side. And it's like, oh, what did I do? Did I spell something wrong? What's going on? So you got to be careful about that. Look at it really closely. In this case, I didn't put capitalizations in. So I'm going to go ahead and delete everything back to here. And I'm going to type it out again. History of Ellis Island. Now hit enter. Oh, I hit enter once, nothing happened, but it didn't tell me I was wrong over here. All right, so I'm going to try hitting enter again. And now you'll notice that, hey, it popped it down. So now it was happy with me. So be very careful with your spelling. Sometimes you have to delete the whole thing and try again. If I reset this, it's going to take me all the way back to the beginning. My attempts still haven't changed, so I just like to point that out to you. So resetting isn't going to really get you a whole lot in the long run. So just something to be aware of. So let me go ahead and quick do that again, just so we can get through this. The history of Ellis Island, and let's see if I can. There we go. Now it wants me to center it. All right. So I can go ahead and I can highlight it. Come on, just first line, and I'm going to say go right. Oh, I clicked the wrong button. So make sure you click the right one. And once it's happy, it'll say questions completed. Now we're moving on to the next question. We got our 5 attempts back. So every question you have a new 5 attempts. So if you're down to 1, don't worry. You're not like you're going to be losing out completely there. But now it says I want me to go to the header section and type Davis. I'm just going to double click up in the header. And again, I'm going to purposely screw this one up. I'm going to say Davis space page number page mark. Oh, wrong one. Page number bottom. Oh, wrong one. Page number. Oh, current position plain number. Nope, got that wrong. Oh, didn't capitalize it again. Davis space, page number, current plane. Hey, it's finally happy with me. I got 2 exams right. It's going to me to do a right layout, and I'm like, it's this button. Nope. Oh, damn. All right, it's that button. Oh, okay, cool. And now it wants me to close the header. So you can come to design and say close. And it wants me to set a half-inch index. Now, I'm going to do this the wrong way, but I'm going to select everything. And you can drag this over. First line indent, notice it even says that. I could drag this over to the half-inch part. And if I let go, it yells at me and saying, oh, you got that wrong. That is a perfectly acceptable way of normally doing this. They wanted you to do it slightly different. They wanted you to come into the paragraph menu in here, line spacing, and then select half an inch. But that's, again, how picky this can be. So take your time when you are doing this. Yeah, especially when you have these long things that are typed out. Be very careful to actually type everything out as it sits. Make sure you've got the last period if that's blue and those types of things. It will be very picky for you. But anyway, at this point, I'm going to say I'm done just so we can move on with seeing this. Hopefully you've completed all 26 questions before you hit that submit button. And now it's uploading my assignment for me, which is great. Now I'm going to come in here and we're going to go look at that. So if I click the 3 dots over here, I can say view submissions. You will see that I have 3 attempts here, all with 3.8% grades because I've tried to make the video a few times and failed. But anyway, so we're going to click on submission 3 of 3. That's one we just did. And over here on the right, it shows us all the questions. It tells us up here whether we got it correct or not. So you can see question 1 we got correct. Question 2 was incorrect, score of 0. So even though I did one part correct, I still got 0 points for it, which is really annoying to me. You should at least get partial points when it's this like subsection, but you don't, unluckily. But the key thing that I really want to point out here is this launch training button. So clicking that will take you into another simulation, which will help you walk you through this. So now instead of just saying go to the footer and do this, it's saying on the insert tab in the header footer section, click header and then click edit header. Edit header. Now type Foster, F-O-S-T-E-R. Press spacebar 1 time under header and photos on the design tab. We want to click page number. Then we want to click the current position and then click plane number. Hey! But anyway, you can see how this is literally like walking you through step by step where to click, what to click, when to click it. Now, if you're still having issues and you're like, I still don't know how to do this. Anyway, we're going to finish this one off before I do that. We're going to click Orion line right, and then it says to exit, you can double click anywhere not in the header. Now, if you're like, I still know how to do this section, down here we have a learning aids button. That has a practice section to it, which is absolutely wonderful. It will
click to the left of many of us.
Left of many of us.
Hold down.
I've clicked there. Hold down Shift and click at the end of the document, the healthcare industry. So I click there. Hold
on the Home tab, in the paragraph group,
little button right there.
In the paragraph dialog box,
to first line.
Click OK.
And then it defaulted to 0.5, which is nice. And then you can say hit OK, and boom, now it's done all that for us. Now, practice is complete. Now do it yourself. So it's saying, hey, we've walked you through this. Now do it without us walking you through it. So again, select the whole thing. And again, I could do this. Let's see if the training's going to yell at me for this. Yep, see if training doesn't like that. What you'll see once I do this is that little marker will end up right there, which bothers me, but it's the way the game works. Do I not have everything selected correctly? I guess I don't have things selected correctly. Yeah, I had an extra paragraph selected and it was yelling at me for it. It's one of those things. Anyway, first line, half inch. Now again, watch that little marker right there once I hit OK. Boom, it moved. It's like, well, that should have been accepted, but it was not. So you have to be extra careful when you are doing these things. And it will walk you through this for all different parts. So if you're having issues with the simulations, I highly suggest that you come in here, go through the questions that you got wrong, do the training on them, learn how to do it. And unluckily, then you have to do your whole assignment again. So you have to go through all 26 parts. You can't just do an individual question, which bothers me. But unluckily, that's the way the cookie crumbles. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Have a good one. Bye.